It's a whole new deal in Memphis where head coach John DeFilippo is trying to find the recipe for success with the Showboats. The Memphis Showboats might be a franchise that's flying a little bit under the radar, even though they have a proven coach and a proven quarterback. DeFilippo talks about changing the culture, and his offensive coordinator Doug Martin talks about changing the signal callers as we dive into the Memphis Showboats.
That was the fall of anxiety.
Memphis Showboats head coach John DeFilippo was anxious after the 2023 USFL season because even with the success of his 7-win New Orleans Breakers team, he knew success on the field was no guarantee of an automatic entry into the merged league. A call from now UFL head of football operations Daryl Johnston cleared some things up and put DeFilippo on an unexpected journey, a journey he was eager to take his first steps on.
I was in the grocery store and I saw Daryl's number pop up on my phone. And I'm like, well, here we go. Here we go. And I answered, and he says, well, as you know, it's one of the worst kept secrets in sports that the New Orleans Breakers are no longer. He goes, but I'd really like, you want to coach the Memphis Showboats? And I just said, absolutely, like that quick.
What that meant was DeFilippo, who replaced Larry Fedora as the head coach of the Breakers, he was replacing Todd Haley as the head coach of the Showboats. Once again, DeFilippo enters a scenario where he takes a core of players and remakes it in his own image.
You know, I feel like I was in my first year again. That's what I felt like walking into that first team meeting. You know, and it would have felt different if the New Orleans Breakers were still the New Orleans Breakers. I would have known 80% of the players on the team. They would have known me. Okay. So, you know, it's been a challenge. I think that our players have accepted that challenge. Okay. In terms of the way we practice, I think that's been a shocker to some people around here. You know, and that's nothing against the way things were done in the past. I'm not saying the things were done in the past were wrong and what we do right. It's just, this is what we do. This is a culture that we bring.
A culture starts with the coaching staff, and it has to be embraced by the players. DeFilippo brought in some of the Breakers players who knew what that culture was all about. He also revamped the quarterback room. 3 new signal callers from the previous season, including former Philadelphia Stars quarterback Case Cookus, who is most likely the Showboat starter. Cookus was top 5 in passing yardage in both seasons of the USFL. Gone now is former starter Cole Kelly, who was 6th in the league in passing in 2023.
With Cole, I tell you, you couldn't have a better person, and anybody that worked any harder than Cole. It's just one of those unfortunate things in professional football. There were 3 great players at that position. So I don't think it was anything that Cole didn't do. It's just that the competition level was really high. And Troy and Case right now are playing at a really high level, and they had separated themselves. And, you know, both of those guys have a lot of mobility. They can keep plays alive. That's not particularly Cole's forte. You know, he's more of a straight drop back passer. So to keep the continuity of the offense, going to a third, somebody maybe in more of the role of those guys, was what we were looking for a little bit. But again, nothing that Cole did wrong. He was phenomenal the whole time. It's just the other 2 guys are really playing well.
The Memphis Showboats under DeFilippo might be more of a revamp rather than a rebuild. He takes over a 5-5 squad, infuses it with some new talent, and he adds a heavy dose of that all-important culture.
You're constantly talking about mental toughness and what you do off the field matters. You're totally talking about what it's like to be a professional. Okay. Part of being a professional is taking care of your body, getting sleep, drinking water, drinking Gatorade, eating the right things. Okay. It's been pretty easy because our guys have been tuned in. Like I said, we've had no issues, none. I'm sure there's some playful banter because we had a lot of guys from a lot of different XFL teams, USFL teams. You know, we're a little bit of the test case of the league. We're the melting pot league. You know, we were really the only team that went out. I call it across party lines, you know? And so we didn't care if you're XFL. We didn't care if you're USFL. I had to take my heart out of it. I don't care if you're a New Orleans Breaker. I know that sounds harsh, but that's the reality of pro football. And it's my job to make sure we get the best players that we think to be on this football team.
DeFilippo is crossing party lines because he sees the value of the merger, something he hopes to see play out with the talent on the field and the support in the stands.
From both leagues merging, it's going to look better, not only because of the players, but because of the markets we're in. There's going to be people in the stands. Butts in the seats matters, obviously. It gives you credibility. I don't know if it improves the play on the field, but it gives you credibility. And so when you have credibility, more players want to play in that league. And so I think you're just going to see an overall better total product from the game experience for the fan and obviously the play on the field.
What are your expectations for the Memphis Showboats and the UFL this season? Let me know down in the comments. And a reminder, if you're looking for some old school Memphis Showboats merchandise like this, hit up RoyalRetros.com, use the code JLS, you'll get 10% off your order. And while you're there, check out the huge assortment of gear from the old football, baseball, basketball, and even hockey leagues from the past. Hope you'll like and subscribe to the channel here, and stick around, take a look at some of these other videos from my channel.